Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Scream Scene. I'm Jody Dean. Tonight, joining me is my lovely co-host, Krista. Krista, what's going on?
Not a whole lot, just diving into some more Freddy gossip.
Dude, I seen this today and I was like, what the hell is going on here? Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street news right here. June will be a sad month for Nightmare on Elm Street fans. Netflix is delivering a real nightmare right in the middle of the horror slasher's 40th anniversary. What did you hear about this?
I mean, essentially the title alone is clickbait in my opinion. It's not like the movies are being deleted from the internet. They're just removing them from Netflix. And I hear another channel might pick them up like Max or some other, big streamer. I guess Max used to have the rights before and they used to hold the streaming rights to it. And then there's a rumor that they might be doing a 4G version of the original Freddy. So that's exciting news, which is not, disappointment to me.
Right. No, for sure. So I see where this could like probably get a bunch of people is a lot of people live by Netflix nowadays. They only have Netflix, like Netflix is life, Netflix and chill. So maybe this is like, yeah, they made it seem like this was a groundbreaking thing, or at least I had a few people message me and they were like, "Did you hear Freddy's going away?" And I'm like, that's not really what it says. It's just it's moving off of Netflix, but they're still keeping a few of them on there. It said.
I think the newest ones. I think the old school original ones are being, but I don't think Freddy vs. Jason is even on there. I don't know that that's on. Is it? I don't think so.
Actually, hold on. I just found okay, I just found something here. Nightmare on Elm Street. Its first four sequels and the 2010 remake are leaving Netflix on June 30th, 2024. The original film is coming to 4K for the first time to celebrate the franchise's 40th anniversary. Wes Craven's New Nightmare will be the only film from the franchise remaining on Netflix after June 30th.
They are trying to scare us, but it's to me, I see this as a good thing with all of this Freddy Krueger news that's been out. They're going to do a freaking new movie. They have to. Everybody's still talking about it. That article that you're referencing was talking about wanting to create a new Freddy for the new generation to like get them to fall in love with Freddy like we did in the 80s.
Mhm.
So that's really compelling to me.
It- we definitely are due a new Freddy movie. Now, here's something crazy for a lot of people. A while back, uh, Krista and I were covering this fake news that came to the internet that a Freddy remake was in the works. It was a TV show of Freddy Krueger. It was actually called Fred, and Rob Zombie was directing it. That was a lie. That was fake news. That's not happening. We wish it would happen, but it's not. Um, so we had talked about that, and in talking about it, Krista had learned, and a lot of people learned, that I wasn't a big Nightmare on Elm Street fan. However, the last time I had binge watched all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, I was a kid at that time when we had that conversation. Right after that conversation, I went down the rabbit hole, revisited a lot of these movies, and now I am a Krueger fan. Like legit, if you watch them when you were a kid and you watch them now, it's so much better. Back then, they may have seemed like the kind of scary to where like you were afraid to go to bed afterwards, like you're gonna have nightmares. Now, when I watch them, I laugh. I enjoy the goofiness and the kookiness of Freddy in some aspects, but also there was a lot of great effects back then.
His makeup alone was 110%. And the factory, like this, there was a whole movie done in some kind of a factory, where it was like the colors were like the Chucky poster behind you, like the red and black colors. It was incredibly done. It was so done so well. Like, oh, that one still is from the 80s, sticks out in my head as a terrifying like location for me.
I 100% agree with you. That fact, oh my god, I love that factory scene. It was just a perfect setting. They shot that so well. It's really cool seeing the first Nightmare on Elm Street and seeing Johnny Depp as a young man. That he was such a sharp young man, and to go on and make the films that he has, I think it started with Freddy. If I'm not mistaken, that was his first role, I think.
Johnny Depp's first role?
I
Really?
think so.
Let me Google that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. Maybe. Hey, listen, guys, do not pin me to the stakes. Do not stake pin me. I don't do anything to hurt me.
no,
Okay.
you're right. A
What?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
That was his first film. Okay. All right. See, I knew I was right. Anyway, he did such an amazing job. And, when you watch that movie, the quality was so good. Like, we're going back, man. Like, now we have 4K now. Like, you look at that film, though, it's really nice and clean. I don't know if I seen like a remastered version of it or not, but I was like really shocked how good the quality was. And I thought the acting was pretty decent as well.
I would agree. Like Nancy,
Oh.
what? Oh,
I lost you for half a second. We're good. Go.
I'm like, yeah, I thought there was another spirit behind me. I'm like, what? But yes, I agree. The acting was incredible. Nancy, the girl who plays Nancy, she does a fantastic job. And oh God, I love them. And to be terrified as a kid like that, and I just love it. Oh, I love Freddy.
Let me ask you a serious question.
No, what?
I'm going to ask you a very, very serious, deep, like question. I've heard a lot of women say that they find Freddy Krueger attractive, which blows my mind because he looks like a pepperoni pizza. Has he ever crept into your nightmares or your dreams?
Not in a sexual aspect, no. Those claws terrify me. Those won't do me any good.
Right. Okay. All right. I was just seeing. Hey, listen. I was talking to this girl the other night, longtime friend of ours, and she was like, "Oh God, I just love Freddie. He's so darling." Whoa, what the fuck's going on right now? Like, are you okay? Like, do I need to pour some ice on you? And she was like, "There's something about him. He's just sizzling." I'm like, Jesus Christ, woman, calm down.
Whoa.
Yeah, she's ready to get a baby in her. Like, you know.
That's like a horror, like a villain. Like if I could think of it like a horror character that I would be attracted to, Candyman maybe, because his voice, something about his voice, he can keep his hook at home. But
Candyman. Okay. Yeah, dude, Tony Todd has that voice.
yeah,
I love
that's what would do it for me, would be the voice, not anything. I can't see Freddy and me getting down.
Yeah. Yeah, Freddie, you're not going to hook up with Krista, so stop trying to creep into the nightmares.
He's creeping into Nancy's though, getting up into her bed and those sheets and pulling her down into his world. I can see some sensual aspects to that, of course, but yeah.
Yeah, dude, Robert Englund is just such a fantastic actor. I'm hoping to God that he's got one more in him, that they're going to give him one more chance. He's still doing film, so why not? I hope maybe mentally and physically they can get him prepared and they throw him into it one more time. It actually says right here, A Nightmare on Elm Street may have not had a new film in the franchise in 14 years. Wow.
2010 was it?
Yeah. So, all right. The last one, I forget the actors' names, but there was the one guy that plays in Twilight as Emmett. There was the one girl in it that I loved. She played in the Arrow TV series as Laurel. And I liked the actor choices they had there, but it was one of those films where I never have watched the whole thing since, and I've tried 2 or 3 times.
The last two Freddy ones that came out, I can't get through them really.
And here's the thing is I've watched independent films that were made on shoestring budgets that I can get through, and it looked like somebody maybe took an old camera laying around the house and made them. They weren't absolutely horrible. It was very uninteresting. Like it had a weird tempo. Like it was like an off beat, if that makes any sense.
I feel like some people try to overdo it when they're trying to redo a classics or add to the classics. I think their standards are set really, really high, and I feel like they do something a little different or unique to try to get a new audience, which could throw off the tempo. Like you said, it just a different feel to the movie as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah, and see, this kind of sucks. When you take a 14-year span of not keeping one of the most iconic horror people going, like, yeah, you have those originals to live on, but that's just way too much time. There needed to be another film already. I'm surprised because there's a lot of producers out there, there's a lot of filmmakers that, the way this kind of works is if you've had success as a horror filmmaker and Hollywood comes knocking on your door, it's pretty much almost up to you what you would like to try. And it's very rare that you're going to get a no, especially if you're a hot name. Like, I bet you anything in the world, if Damien Leon wanted to touch a Freddy Krueger movie, a Nightmare on Elm Street, they would say, how much do you want? Because there's already a fan base there. And now they know that Damien's doing it. So it's kind of like, okay, we got two reasons people are going to want to see this. I'm surprised that nobody stepped in there and said, hey, let me touch. I thought Rob Zombie would be the perfect person to do it.
I feel like Freddy versus Jason was a huge flop though, so maybe it kind of the enthusiasm maybe fell off a little bit about, like, look how many Scream movies they've done. They release one like every year, it seems like. There's like 100,000 of them. And there's another one that's coming out. It's like the momentum is still there and it keeps going. I think with the Freddy revival back then, it flopped and maybe it's just not as popular.
I now that I am really a Krueger Elm Street fan, see what happened is after we had that pod over the next 3 weeks, I had just watched all the movies from the beginning to pretty much to the end. I think maybe I didn't see the second from the last one. And that last one was the only one that I kind of was like, I don't know, something weird. I'm not locked in. I tried to. I even came back like a week later and started it from the beginning and watched the whole beginning again, and I still ended up turning it off before the end, which I rarely do. Like, I'll sit through some shitty movies.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, you don't do that. You will watch the movie.
Facts. But one thing that I always loved about Freddy, like even when I wasn't a big fan of the Nightmare on Elm Street films, is I mad credit for like dudes, the character of Freddy, that red and green sweater, the dirty grungy hat, his makeup, like you said, the hand is so creepy. I think they have a great character there. I never doubted that. I was always really into posters that had him on them, action figures and things like that. I have some behind me back on my shelf back there. So like I've always liked the guy and liked the idea of him. I had to revisit some of those movies that I watched when I was a kid, and for some reason I never tried to go back to them because I didn't care for them then.
I would always stay up watching them, but I would always cover my eyes during the horror scenes because his face just got me. Do you remember the one scene? I think it was a dream sequence where they had those the old school knobs on the sink, and it was like the white with the claws, and she went to turn it and it grabbed her hand and like pulled her.
Yeah.
Like, I had those knobs growing up, so like every element would, like, I couldn't go to the bathroom at night and wash my hands because of that Freddy movie. Those elements were just intense and so well done for the time.
Right. They did some effects then that were just absolutely wonderful. I remember watching it just saying, wow, I'm glad that I did this, because as somebody that's really big into special effects, especially practical effects, like I was like, wow, they did some amazing stuff here. That I love that tub scene so much.
Right.
Not just because what I'm saying, that tub scene is just so well done. The scene with the in the bed with him coming through the back wall over the headboard. Oh my god, that was so cool. And I see haunted houses that have implemented some of those effects in their haunts now too, which is really cool.
Like through the fabric kind of thing, or
Fabric walls. They'll have like these walls, and like you'll go walking down like a hallway, and like people will start coming like out of them, and then they'll come back, and it's super duper creepy.
it's hard to scare me now, even haunted houses. I went to the 13th floor this last year for the first time, and everybody's like, it's the most haunted, blah, 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 in the country. Really? It wasn't.
Well, I can tell you, as a haunted house owner, you're not my favorite people. You are one of my favorite people in real time, in real life. But I will say, when people come through the haunt during haunt season, and I have this problem every single year, and it gets my goat. It really does. If I had a goat, it would get it. So I am the tour guide at Dean's Haunted Mansion. I take people through, and each year I am in some kind of character. I usually play Dr. Sick, Dr. Dean. These are all my monsters and creations. And each year I'm a little bit more sadistic, a little bit more psycho. And last year I played the demonic priest. So I did switch it up one year. But when I'm taking people through, I'll always have somebody in the line, in the tour, that'll say, when's it gonna get scary? I'm not scared. You're not real. Like, it's like they're trying to have a bad time. And I'm like, I get it. Like, there's always that one fucking person. And I said to somebody last year when we were done with the tour, he was like, woohoo, I'm not scared. And I was like, it would be okay if you came to one of these places and just let your guard down and enjoy yourself. I make haunted houses, so when I go through them, I get it. I look at everything, and I know it's coming. Sometimes I'm like, somebody's about to come. Oh, there they are. Yeah, dude, good job. But like I see that every year, and I don't know, man. Like, are you like that, Krista? This year you're helping us scare people, so that you're on the other side, which is good.
You will never hear me disrespect any place that I'm at. Like, oh, like I went to this haunted house. It didn't scare me, but I wasn't walking around complaining. I was talking about how great the props were and how exciting it was. But it just, like, I was with my sister, my nephew, and his girlfriend, and they were all scared and they wouldn't go first. So I went first. So I wonder, maybe they just didn't scare me because I was in front, because they were scaring everybody behind me. So it was like I was waiting for that big, like, every corner I was waiting for somebody to come jump out at me, and it didn't happen. And we were like, there was like 10 people in line, so it was a slow night, so maybe they were understaffed, I don't know. But
Yeah.
no, I would not sit there at your attraction and say, when is it going to get good? Like, that's not my personality, you know that.
No, I know. Well, it's funny because we're here to talk about Freddy Krueger, but we got into something here that is actually been in a conversation or two lately. When I talk to other haunt owners, it's funny. Like, people go to a haunted house, they pay to go to a haunted house to show everybody they're not scared. It proves nothing, because we can't really touch you. We can't really hurt you. We wouldn't really want to. But like, it is something as a haunt owner I've seen every year. And this last year, man, I seen it the most. And what's crazy is 98% of the people that came through there almost left in tears. It was so scary for them.
Wow.
So I think it's an open-minded thing. Like, I think if you go in one open-minded and let your guard down. But see, you and we probably have really good senses and stuff like that, and reflexes, and I do. I walk into them and I call it, but I think it is discouraging for some hot people. Like, I'll see some actors like do their best, and they're like,
Oh,
I'm like, you poor thing, you keep scaring motherfuckers.
my sister actually broke someone's nose, she thinks, because he popped out behind her and she flung her head back and hit this guy right in the face. And he covered his face and walked off really quick. And Jamie felt absolutely terrible. I wonder how often, like, they get hurt, like, people, like, by, reflexes.
Luckily, we haven't had anything like that happen at ours, but I think we always pre-prepare for that. Some haunted houses don't. Like, we kind of like have like this idea of where we're going to be, and hey, that can still backfire on you too. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no perfect way to run a haunted house attraction, but you can get as close to it as you can.
Mhm.
Um, but one thing we don't do in our haunted house is we don't have any characters from movies. We don't have no Freddy Krueger that's going to pop out and scare you. I try and do things that you're not familiar with, because I've been to haunted houses before where they're using these licensed characters, which I don't know even know if that's legal. I don't think it is. But like, I've been in haunted houses before where they've had a Freddy Krueger and a Jason, and that automatically doesn't scare me because I'm familiar with it. Like, I know you're not Freddy, you're not Robert Englund, you're not Kane Hodder. But when I go to a haunted house and I see a character I'm not familiar with, I don't know how they move, what their strengths are, like, are they going to start freaking crawling up the wall or something? And to me, that's what makes a haunted house scary, is giving somebody the unexpected.
I went to one when I was in Hawaii last year. They had this bus driving around, and it was called the Ghost Bus, and it was actually a haunted bus. And so I bought tickets for it for me and my friends. My best friend wouldn't go, so a couple of my other friends and I did. And it was like 4 or 5 of us, and it was like this whole experience. Like, there was a mad scientist, and it was like a zombie outbreak type deal, and they put everybody on the bus, and I had to sit by myself in the back because I didn't have a pair. Like, my 2 best friends, well, they sat together because they didn't want to be alone. And I'm like, okay, I'll go solo in the back. And they blindfolded you. And then this outbreak happened on the bus. And these actors were running up and down the aisles, and they got right up in your face, and they were breathing on you. And it was so incredibly different. I really enjoyed it. Like, I didn't find that it was intimidating because you don't know what's going to happen, but I wasn't scared. I was excited.
I love that. I love that. That is so cool. They make me so happy. Even as a haunted house owner, the number one thing that upsets me now is, because I am a haunted house attraction owner, that during the season I can't go to other haunted houses because I'm busy on those nights. And there's some haunted houses I'm able to make it to because they're open on nights during the week, but it's also not the same as going on a Friday or a Saturday, because
Right.
that's when they are the most staffed, because they know it's going to be a busy night. And the more actors they have, the better the scares are. So I do miss that. And I miss it so much that I even told Alicia a while back, like, and this is so crazy because I mean it and I don't mean it. Like, I even said to her, like, I kind of wish I didn't have a haunted house because now I miss going to them. Like, it's been something I've done since I was a kid. And you could say, yeah, you own your own now, so now you're scaring people. It's true, but it's not the same, man. Like, I do truly miss that experience walking through as a client and an attendee. And
Standing in the cold lines, watching the employees dressed up walking around. It's a great experience, and it gives those fall vibes. It's what puts you in the mood for the season. Ours actually opens up for different events throughout the year. So the 13th floor just recently did a Valentine's haunt. And then they did something in July. Like, they're always doing like rebranding so they can do things throughout the year. It's kind of cool.
I love that. See, I wish that, like, you and some other great friends I have, I wish that you guys lived a little bit closer and that you could be a part of. I could have more people that, like, are really into it, be a part of these events. Because, like, I hire people that work out great. They do fine, but there's only so many people that live and breathe this. Like, and I can't get all of them, but everybody I'm connected with that are friends live and breathe this. So I wish all my friends that are in that vein were, like, closer and able to help out with more events throughout the year, and I would probably do more. Like, I do a regular haunt season, September, October. I do Creepy Christmas. I do Scream Break. I do, Bloody Valentine. So that's the only thing that kind of holds me up, is like, finding people that are super passionate. You know, each haunt season I hire 20 to 24 people. And like you can tell there's some people there that are just doing it to get the paycheck, like you know, and they do okay. But the people that really love the shit, bro, like they're my top scare actors.
Mhm.
So I'm glad you're gonna be with us this season.
I am so excited. I am incredibly excited for that.
So cool.
Yeah,
But
if you ever want to do one throughout the year, all you got to do is ask.
I know. Yeah, it's true. But uh back to this. May have not had a new film in the franchise in 14 years, but there are many ways Freddy Krueger is being celebrated this year for the franchise scary 40th anniversary. This includes a handful of new toys, and Netflix has even honored the original Wes Craven classic with the spot in their 1984 collection. However, it won't be staying there for long, as the original film and Freddy's first handful of Nightmare sequels are leaving the streamer in June.
I'm going to be binging those again before June 30th, you said, right?
Yeah, you know, I have them on DVD, so I prefer to watch everything on VHS. I don't have them, I don't believe, on VHS. I'll have to double check. I got so many horrors on VHS now. I do have them on DVD though, and I bought that collection before I even got into the Nightmare on Elm Street more recently. I think I seen it somewhere and I was like, I'll pick it up. It deserves to be in the collection. So I mean, I have a way to watch it, but I think for a lot of people, that kind of sucks, man. Those are classics that you definitely are probably. I don't see. I would think they would be doing really good on Netflix, and they would want to keep them on there.
I feel like they are contracted for a certain amount of time, and if they don't get the contract renewed, that's when they go away. I know Netflix releases every month, like this is what's coming in this month and this is what's going out. So I know that they're recycling all the time. So I feel like their rights to stream just got expired, maybe, and I don't know. But I was reading the article that you're looking at now, and it had said something about in the first one they talk about the connection that Freddie has to Nancy and her family, and I can't for the life of me remember what it is. So I have to go rewatch it to figure out what that connection is. Because when you're a kid, you don't pick up on that stuff. You're looking at the actor. You're looking at the scary, you know.
Yeah.
Pay
No,
attention to as much of the storyline.
I hope they give him a new movie soon, and I hope that somebody that we really respect as a writer and director writes the film and directs it. I think that's the way to bring it back and bring it back bigly and greatly for the horror fans that they love Freddy. They want to see him, but what can we do with Freddy now that hasn't been seen? That's the problem. Is they got to do something that brings him back and makes all the people that hate remakes love the remake.
Is there like a specific like scene or situation you would like to see Freddie in a new movie?
I haven't thought about it too much, but I would say that it'd be awesome to see him come back to torment somebody, be a tormentor of somebody's nightmares that is big in the world's operations. Like, what if like they did Freddy, the nightmare stalker of the president of the United States or some shit? Like, imagine if Freddy was like tormenting the president of the United States, and now this guy's over here, you know, pushing nuclear buttons, but it's not him, it's Freddy making him do it. Like something compelling that like really changes the whole dynamic to where it's like, okay, we've seen Freddy do everything before. What haven't we seen? We haven't seen him step inside of somebody of extraordinary power. I know that might sound lame. My title was terrible.
Oh,
But yeah.
I just sprung that on you because I was thinking in my own head, what would I like to see Freddie up to? That I think it'd be kind of cool to see him like rogue in a zoo. Like he could morph into the animals in your dream, and like a tiger would be Freddie, but the claws would be Freddy claws, you know? I think that'd be kind of fun. Silly, but fun.
That's cute. Animality, 5,000 points. Um,
Like a Freddy giraffe. You know how Freddy, like you said, has that silly element to him. I could totally see like his head pop up out of a giraffe now.
I
just
can see those elements for sure.
just
Yeah.
a kid's fantasy dream. But
Yeah, I don't think that's like out of line at all. I think I definitely see something like that, especially when you're saying like the animal having Freddy claws. I mean, I think it's going to take something wild, whether it's those things or not. It's going to take something wild to put him back on the radar to where the new generation, the younger generation, are going to become extreme Freddy fans. Now they're Freddy fans because they're horror lovers,
right.
because they like his look, like how I did. Like I was somebody that like I would have had even though I wasn't a big Nightmare on Elm Street fan, I would still have his poster on my wall because he looks cool as shit, you know. So you got those. We need to make them fall in love with him because they love his character, they love his movies. So it's going to take something huge, you know, him crawling into the nightmares of somebody that seems unattainable.
Like the president, like you said, that would be interesting. I've never seen any horror president movies. I mean, I've seen like dramas with presidents and stuff like that, but never a horror, you know.
Imagine this. My writer director brain just kicked in. Imagine a DVD cover of Freddy in a suit standing in front of the White House, and the White House is covered in blood running down the pillars, all over the stairs. There's bodies everywhere. There's a little podium right in front of him. He's got his hand on it, you know, holding the microphone with his claw sticking out. And at the top it says, Freddy Krueger, the president of the United States of Scare America.
That's fucking amazing. You got to incorporate Air Force One into that, you know, the fear plane.
Yeah, I mean, the title could use some work, but just that picture of like, if you were, you know, you're in Walmart and you see, is that Freddy Krueger at the White House? I gotta see that shit. Like, what the fuck is he gonna imagine that? Like, that's next level.
I can't unsee Freddy in a suit. That's great. In the podium with yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, ladies, you thought he was attractive before. Just wait now. You're gonna see him in a suit. You're gonna be like, that's baby daddy.
Gosh, that's ridiculous. I love it.
Oh God, guys. I listen, I hope to see something big with Freddy. Any last words, Krista?
I just feel they're going to do something. I keep seeing this stuff on the internet. You keep seeing it. People are talking about it. There's a buzz out there. They're going to do something. Yeah.
I hope so. Guys, we post every week here on the Scream Scene. We actually post a lot. Make sure your notifications are on. What can you expect here? You can expect to see reactions, reviews, lots of podcasts, lots of chats, anything that has to do with horror films or real life horrors. I want to always stay in that vein. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's what we want as horror fans. Like, I want to know about what movies are coming out, things we have to look forward to. I just heard that they're going to be doing an Insidious 6. I don't know if you see anything about that.
I actually did. I heard about that. Is that supposed to be the last one? They always say it's the last one, though, and it never is.
I don't know that. I didn't even go down the rabbit hole to see if it's legit happening. Like, I didn't visit IMDb over it, but I did see several different postings with this graphic saying that Insidious 6 was coming. You know, and that's just it. We might bring something to somebody that they don't know that's happening. So if you guys are into movies, man, if you're into horror and you're into news and things like that, if it has to do with horror, make sure you're subscribed, notifications are on, liking, commenting, sharing, all that good stuff. And we'll see you guys in a few days. But until then, sweet nightmares. Love you all.